Ruben Amorium sacked. What went wrong at Man United for hard-working head coach, the club confirm Old Trafford exit. Amorium was hard-working and honest, but had to go. Ruben Amorium's sacking was inevitable and predictable. There was an awful lot of optimism when he first joined, both from the Manchester United bosses and from supporters. The United hierarchy were desperate to give him a full season in charge before judging him, partly because of the cost of sacking him, which will now be £12 million, but also because of the recurring instability that inevitably happens if you regularly change the man at the top. Since Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013, Amorium was the 10th manager to be appointed. But results were so poor, they never afforded the club's bosses, or Amorium, the luxury of time. Despite spending over £200 million on attacking talent in the summer, despite the Portuguese coach having a full pre-season to get his message across, despite many of the statistics pointing to improved performance levels from the team, despite the man himself coping well with the media scrutiny and being well liked across the board at the club, the results were awful. Stubbornness forms the very basis of where many fans will feel Amorium got it wrong. But could the Portuguese head coach's downfall be pinned on a specific decision? Bruno Fernandes' importance to Manchester United goes without saying. His 100 goals for the club tell a story of the level of consistency and performance he's displayed since arriving at Old Trafford nearly 6 years ago. Ask anyone who United's best player is and the majority will reply with Fernandes. However, in the summer, there was an opportunity to move away from him. Rightly or wrongly, representative of an era at United, Fernandes had an offer to move to Saudi Arabia, which would have seen United potentially make £100 million from his departure. That money could have been reinvested to plug United's overstated midfield holes. Instead, the player became a symbol of Amorium's hard-headed approach. Amorium's insistence on deploying him as one of his two midfielders has hampered United. As captain, Fernandes is Amorium's go-to in midfield, and for the former Sporting coach, he contended for the position with Kobbie Mainoo. That's a scenario that has seen the England international and the favourite among fans find minutes hard to come by, which hasn't helped Amorium's case with the Old Trafford faithful. Stubborn by nature, Amorium would tell you he'd make the same decision to keep Fernandes, knowing what would ultimately be his fate. However, it is now clear that Fernandes was the catalyst for Amorium's United demise. Amorium has had an uphill task since day one, and that is down to Manchester United's dithering over Erik ten Hag. The Dutchman looks set to leave, salvaging an FA Cup win at the end of a disappointing 2023-24 season. It was a chance for him to leave on a high and for the club to move on. But instead, after sounding out various alternatives, United decided they could find no better option, so handed Ten Hag a contract extension and a heap of money in the transfer window. He was also given a say on who to bring in. He did have a voice, which is why there were one or two Dutch players, Sir Jim Ratcliffe memorably said. Players Ten Hag had coached at former clubs were also added to the squad. 9 games into the new 2024-25 season, the United decision-makers changed their mind again and sacked him before installing Amorium. A new manager in a new league, trying to implement a new system with players signed for a different manager. What could go wrong? It now looks like folly to have given Amorium a full pre-season and transfer window in the summer of 2024 to shift the style of play and approach at the club. The good feeling from the FA Cup win could have provided a welcome launchpad. It was the wrong decision, Ratcliffe concluded about the whole Ten Hag mess. Prior to Amorium's appointment, there were reports he would have preferred to have waited until the end of the season before leaving Sporting for United. If he had been given a full run-in to his first campaign, the transition could have been a whole lot smoother and successful. Manchester United scored just 44 league goals. In 2024-25, their lowest recorded total since 1973-74, when they were relegated from the First Division. So this summer was about putting a new forward line, and in came Matheus Cunha, Brian Bumo and Benjamin Sesko. An impressive triple capture, and one that cost £107.2 million. It represented a huge outlay for a club without European football, but illustrated just how keen they are to ensure the absence from Europe lasted one season, and one season only. But how costly was it that the midfield was, on the face of it, not treated with the same urgency? Amorium did not sign a single midfielder during his time in charge. Fernandes is one of the first names on the team sheet, and rightly so, but the options for partners are limited. It is a similar story in goal. Andre Onana played only 3 of the last 7 league games last year, before being loaned out to Trabzonspor. Amorium initially persisted with Altay Baindir, despite the £18.2 million arrival of Sen Lamens. Eyebrows were raised with the signing of Lamens, with just 54 league appearances to his name, but he has been United's number 1 since October.